Alright, let me get started on this. So we still in Grizzleheim. Who do we have to talk to? Grimmer and Vigrid. Roughlands.
You should not have returned. It's dangerous out there. But fate put you here for a reason. I will help you.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about,
If you wish to get into
Vine.
the Red Claw Fort of Frostholm and rescue Ivar Anderson, your best hope is to sneak in and cause trouble for them from inside. They are looting the village and all the nearby lands of all our weapons. They do this to arm themselves and to keep us from fighting back.
Really?
They have taken many weapons already, so now they're looking for the most valuable ones. Ragnar Stormbrow, leader of the Red Claw here in Anders Holt, carries the finest weapon I have yet seen. Take it.
I still haven't seen any of these weapons that you guys are talking about. You just keep talking about weapons, and they've taken my weapons, and he has the best weapon I've seen in all of the lands. I haven't seen one of these weapons that you guys speak of. I deal in magic, I deal in wands, I deal in things of that nature. I have no clue what these weapons you guys are talking about. Haven't seen one. That blacksmith might just be a fraud. It might just be a fraud. It's almost like real life. Like, where have you ever like came across an actual blacksmith in your neighborhood?
Who are you?
It's very rare,
How
isn't
did you
it?
get here?
Like you barely ever see a blacksmith in your neighborhood because that shit is just
now.
so rare. It's so niche of a thing to do. But there's way more arms dealers in terms of like guns in your neighborhood. You go to your local Walmart, bro, you can easily get a gun. Shit, that's crazy, right? You can get a gun. Whether it's a BB gun, whether it's a real gun, you can get one from Walmart. You can go to the shooting range and like, bro, like there's so many different places in terms of, so that's the same thing that I'm talking about in terms of like Wizard 101. Magic is way more readily available than blades and weapons and stuff. Same with real life and guns. All right, I'm gonna be listening to this awesome The Sauce video. He's a Wizard 101 YouTuber, and yeah, I often listen to his videos while I'm playing Wizard 101, and just fuck it, it's gonna be on in the background. And you know what? There's no one ever really in the streams anyway, so I don't think that I'm intruding too much. Just me in here.
If you're gonna audit all these shadow spells, add all these shadow fusions, essentially change how PvE works. The rating that's associated with this change also needs to be adapted, and it needs to be done sooner than this. I think the priorities are a little bit out of whack. So this is kind of what I meant.
That's kind of crazy. 3 people randomly joined. All right, so we're going against Ragnar. He's in ice school. Let's get some fire spells right quick. Usually people just filter in and out of the stream, so I'm not really expecting anyone to be staying or anything like that, but yeah, that's more than normal.
I'd like to hear your opinion on the new changes to the game in the teaser. Also, is this your first time playing Wizard 101 ever, or did you PL?
No, this isn't my first time playing. I just started playing like back in November, I want to say. Yeah. And like October, November, I started playing Wizard 101. You know, my opinion on the new changes, I'm not really, I'm not really hip to the new changes. I don't know about the new changes. I'm just playing the game. I'm just playing the story. I don't know about any of this. I don't really look at um what is it called? KY, um, the creators of the game. I don't look at their lives or their updates or anything of that nature. I guess for the updates of Wizard 101, I go to Awesome the Sauce, his YouTube. Yeah, that guy's YouTube channel. He gives some pretty good information, even though he's really just relaying all of the updates and things of that nature. So, you know, seems pretty cool so far. It's nice. I like the game. I played it like once when I was like 7 years old, when I was like 8 to 10 years old, and then like I stopped immediately because I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, understandably so. Yeah, let's see what
Who are you? How did you get here? It matters little. Your trespass ends right now.
Everything will go to PC first, then console. I believe console is still a year behind in updates.
Whoa. I didn't know they were a year behind. That is a long time, bro. That is a long time. Dang. I thought that console was at least, at the very least, 4 months behind, 4 to 5 months behind. But like a year behind in updates is insane. Yeah, I was just actually now thinking about it, I was just looking at one of Awesome the Sauce's videos, and he said that the reason why they're so late with the console updates is because they're it's like priority issues. Like they're picking certain updates to prioritize over other ones. Regardless, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion about it, but that is a long time, like a very long time. Wow, man, they need to get the updating. I'm not sure how like what updates are in PC that aren't in console yet, but as far as my gameplay is going, it's not too bad. Like this is pretty good. I mean, now thinking about it, ignorance is bliss, right? So I don't really know much of the updates in PC. So since I'm ignorant of them, I guess, shit. I don't really know what I'm missing. It's still fine on my side, on the console side. But when those updates roll out, we'll see. I'm going to continue this video, though.
Last I heard,
background.
the spring update for 2025 and fall 2025, which includes the new world and max level being 180.
Console needs to... Wait. Hold on. Console doesn't have 180 yet? I just assumed that console had level 180 already. That's insane. If I'm reading what you just said correctly, then wow. Console does not have Wizard 101. I mean, not Wizard 101. I'm tripping. Level 180, that's crazy. Yeah, I just assumed that they already had it. So what are we at? We're at like what, 150 or something? 150 or 170? I don't know. Wow. So that must mean that we don't have certain worlds yet, right? Like we must have certain worlds that we're missing out on as well for console. Because this is console that I'm playing on, so yeah. PC. I imagine PC probably has way more worlds that haven't been rolled out to console yet.
170 is max on console.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't know
170.
if Selenopolis is on console yet.
Selenopolis, I've heard of that somewhere. So 170 is the cap on the console, huh? Wow. Well, I guess I don't have to worry about that because I'm nowhere near that. You see, I'm still in Grizzleheim.
If that's the case, then we are missing 1 or 2 worlds.
Yeah. About 2 worlds. Yeah, I'm level 39. I'm nowhere near 170 anyway, so I'm good. Until then. But hopefully, by the time I get to 170, around 170, they've rolled out the update. Yeah, I'm gonna be listening to this video in the background.
Not in the patch notes. This was already in discussion 3 months ago while test run was out. There's been the Darkmoor update where that discussion never made it out, as in shadow rating was never really, like, you know, changed across mobs and all of that. And now there's a patch where they've literally changed shadow spells, something we're about to talk about right now, and yet shadow rating didn't get tweaked. Kind of weird. I think people are just not able to access shadow rating right now and shadow pips, especially as you go later. For a lot of people, these spells just feel like they're fancy schmancy, but they don't really do anything worth using, especially in anything remotely casual, right? In an end of world boss, like let's say you're going against Baylor or something, most of your strategies are 3 to 4 round if you're actually not throwing. You're not going to get a shadow pip in that time because your opponents have shadow rating. This is something they really have to consider changing. I think if I'm going against a Lost Soul, I should get a Shadow Pip on round 1. Who cares if I get a Shadow Pip on round 1 against a Lost Soul? And I think the ceiling for how long it should take to get a Shadow should be like 5 to 6 rounds, even against the best of enemies. That way, when you're fighting regular mobs, you can actually use your Shadow AoEs, especially if you're maybe a little bit lower damage, but you have Shadow rating, right? I feel like that trade-off just doesn't exist. People aren't using these spells in PvE. Now, what is in the patch notes, keep it...
Hold on a second. I gotta put this in the pin chat. Oh, I gotta pin this in the chat for a second. Let's see. Okay, we'll do damage over time for him. Did he just Ice Weaver? Okay, really? I am currently listening to Wizard 101 videos in the background. Okay.
Be advised, I'm currently listening to Wizard 101 videos in the background.
I had to put that out there because I don't want people just coming into the stream just thinking that this is like like I'm trying to like impersonate someone or something. Impersonate the person that I'm listening, like whose video I'm listening to. No. You know. Just like listening to the same content that I'm playing. Like if I was playing Roblox, I would want to watch a Roblox gameplay. Same with Resident Evil 2 or Dragon Ball Fighter Z or any game that I'm playing. Bro, this dude didn't get hit yet? Hold on. None of my moves worked? I kept fizzling? If I'm being completely honest, I was on my phone the whole time. Finally. Firebird, where were you this whole time, bro? The damage over time didn't work either. Let me switch. Okay. Now, this won't kill him, but, you know, it's gonna get his health down a little bit. And then hopefully when I hit him with my wand hit, kill him. Dang it, that's not gonna do it. That's not gonna do it. If I kill him with a wand hit, nah. See? If we want to guarantee that wand hit kills him, we got to do a curse. Then we got to do a wand hit. Damn it. This dude has 2 tower shields. Is that 2? Okay, just 1. I was about to say, geez, dude. You think he's saucy getting that much damage off of me? Come on, man. Dang. I mean, it's my fault for not healing up for like 10 rounds. Not rounds, but turns, I guess. You know what? Why not? I never use this card. I barely ever use this card, so why not? I'll use it. The card that my pet, lovely Lily, has given me.
I am hoping that a pack that is on PC comes to console, but I believe it would be in the fall 2025 update. I want the haunted doll pet rolling on the floor laughing.
I've heard of the haunted doll pet. Yeah, I've heard that haunted doll pet is a hot commodity. Oh yeah, we said we're gonna do a wand hit. Yep, hot commodity. It seems pretty cool from what I've seen. Oh man, I might die. I'm not paying attention. Yeah, I'm dead. Fuck, bro. And this, you know what the crazy thing is? That's so embarrassing, bro. That's so embarrassing. You know what the funny thing is? Grizzleheim is so easy right now for me because I'm over leveled. I was just not paying attention and I was on my phone and just not caring about healing up not once. So that's what I get for not healing up. And just, you know, it's almost like that story of the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise just kept running as fast as it could, and then the hare just didn't give a fuck. It didn't care. You know, it walked, it went to the store, it took a nap, it went across the country, came back to the same track, and then it got beat. You know, too late. So what happened with me is they just kept fighting, kept throwing tax pills. And I didn't heal that once. That's my fault. I thought it was sweet. Alright, let's actually play the game. All these healing spells and I'm just playing around. Okay. I'm not even going to take a vial. I don't think I need a vial.
Who are you? How did you get here?
Who are
It matters little. Your trespass ends right now.
Alright, let's get it going. Okay, time to Let me see what the rest of he has to say for this video. Just the Shadow Pip spell update. I mean, I'm guessing the Shadow Pip spell update hasn't even come to console yet. Or the 2026 console. Wait. No, actually, I read the wrong thing. Yeah, the recent Shadow Pip spell.
Wait,
The recent Shadow Pip spell update a mistake? Question mark. Okay, so I'm guessing console didn't get this update that he's referring to. Since we're 1 year behind, apparently. I don't know.
Long it should take to get a shad should be like 5 to 6 rounds, even against the best of enemies. That way, when you're fighting regular mobs, you could actually use your shadow AoEs, especially if you're maybe a little bit lower damage, but you have shadow rating, right? I feel like that trade-off just doesn't exist. People aren't using spells in PvE. Now, what is in the patch notes, keep in mind, is also causing a lot of chaos, and this one is more PvP oriented, but it is the fact that they still haven't balanced the way some of these packs work. The real issue is with this part of the patch note. So they basically changed the new shadow enhanced floors. And why is this creating a lot of chaos? Because they haven't really figured out, in my opinion anyways, how the heal pack
fizzled, of course,
with the way the spell is valued. So this spell was kind of terrorizing.
Try that again.
It was doing about 900 base damage, and then it was doing 3 dots, basically all in one go. But the trade-off was you take 15% less. You reduce 5% at a time, just like every other shadow spell, for each heal on yourself that you consume. Now, because heals specifically are so pip heavy, these spells, the heal pack spells, are just being justified to do.
Oh, the fall update.
Way too much. You might notice this, especially if you're on a school like Fire, Storm, Life, anything that has a to move the initial hits value more onto the dot. So now the spell does only 100 damage initially, and even more values on the dots to the point where it generates 4 dots that do up to 2,700 damage. Now, I will say this, I think it does come off less overwhelming, right? If you have a lot of initial damage and a lot of dot pressure, that is a lot. But now that it's 4 dots, the only spells that can compete with something that is 4 dots is actually, they're very, very pip heavy themselves, right? The only spell that can actually get rid of 4 dots in one go is spells like Bottom Patch Finding Flame, right? This clears 4 dots, gives you a power pip per dot. Well, what do you expect? Everyone that's not a life wizard to stack up 5 life pips. Eventually, people are just going to spam this, and the worst part about it is if you don't remove all the dots, there are spells that do extra damage for the remaining dots that you have on, like Apocalypse. Like, that's basically the combo. Someone does a 4-dot s'mores on you, you remove 2 of the dots, guess what? You still have so much damage that you can have Apocalypse, and you can detonate the remaining 2 for 45% extra damage each. I'm not really seeing the same criticism about other Shadow Fusion spells. To me, it seems like a serious valuation problem with 2 things. One, I think dots, very, very obviously, are just way too powerful on paper. I really think the multiplier that they get for being dots is too much. Right, if y'all don't know, all of these dots do storm damage per pip, even though they're fire spells, because they come off with the trade-off that the damage isn't immediate. I would argue that dots aren't so heavily used that you couldn't actually, I think you could balance dots and lower their damage in PvP without really affecting PvE too much. And you could always do what they've been doing, which is make dots with the Storm DPP multiplier only allowed in PvP and make them a little bit more balanced in PvP. Both of those solutions are fine. I think dots being overvalued is seriously a problem there. But I think the other thing that's really causing issues is the fact that they haven't evaluated the heal packed system well at all. It's another part of the Shadow Spell update that hasn't been rolled out properly. I think whatever multiplier they're giving to spells, because apparently heals are so hard to put on yourself, I don't think it's worth it at all. I think it should have the same multiplier as any pack. That should be the starting point. And maybe if it seems underwhelming as a result, then maybe buff it from there. But I think the starting point is, no matter what pack the spell is, you shouldn't add a multiplier to the damage on it. I think that's a big problem with the way overpowered spells work. I think the solutions are very, very clear. Make it so that you can expect a round 1 Shadow Pip against any mob before the Shadow is available to the wizard, right? Everything before level 95, you should be able to go against it, get a Shadow Pip first round. That's a PvE change. Obviously, once Shadow Rating is a thing, maybe mobs should have a little bit more Shadow Rating. Maybe you should wait a few more rounds. But right now, clearly the floor is too high. The ceiling for the Shadow Rating against enemies is too high. That's my feedback for the way PvE shads feel. And PvP, I think whatever extra multipliers exist in general should have some kind of overview. I think right now we have a game that's pretty fully fledged out, right? You could better than you could ever before. And the damage values of these spells should reflect it. Right now, they went through a whole patch, which we really, right? Like, we have to wait months for that. And all they really did was make an overwhelming dot overwhelming. There's no real change that happened out of this PvP update, part of this update, and nothing really happened for PvE. And in the spirit of constructive criticism, I really mean this. I feel like this patch really feels like it didn't do anything. And I think, why do a patch if it's not going to do anything meaningful right after such a big shadow audit? Now, I'm sure y'all are probably wondering about the title of the video. Was this entire thing a mistake? And you know what? I'll still say this. I think they're still figuring it out, and I'm willing to wait for that to, like, you know, really, I'm willing to wait for the end product of this. I actually don't think this entire shadow update was a mistake at all. I think the way they've rolled it out, though, the rules that are associated with how much damage these things do, I think these should have been finalized by now. Obviously, my big feedback in that sense is this should have been done sooner, right? This update should have been fixed sooner. That's probably where a lot of people are.
You should be dead in like the next.
People know where the current status shads are. And
next round or two.
Listening to all the feedback, y'all should definitely drop your comment on y'all's experience in both PvE and PvP before the most recent patch, after the most recent patch, surrounding shadow rating, shadow enhanced spells in general. Y'all agree that it feels a little incomplete, a little, you know, like maybe you like the update, but it just doesn't feel that usable in PvE. It doesn't feel as fully fleshed out yet. That's kind of where I'm at. That being said, y'all, the spring update is actually really around the corner. We're already getting teasers, so maybe they'll figure all of this out and we'll have a really, really cool spring update. I think if they get this right by spring update, it could be a pretty massive one, especially compared to most recent spring updates, which have been underwhelming. But yes, I wanted to talk about all the drama around s'mores and the lack of the shadow rating audit in PvE from the most recent patch, but I want to hear y'all's thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub review, and as always, if somebody hasn't told you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah. All change in the most recent Wizard 101 patch that is about to drastically change PvE in this game. And I've heard very few people even talking about this. I think very few people even know about this, but basically, right, the most recent end of January patch, it featured a combat review that affected a bunch of fights. I covered all the changes to the fights in a previous video. Y'all should check that out, but there's an even...
All right, in a second, I'm gonna sit here and just look at the video for like 5 minutes or so. While being like AFK, so just letting the stream know.
Smaller thing in the patch notes that might affect the game even.
Right quick.
Hold on there. No one can come in unless they're bringing supplies. That's a fine blade there. Just like the one Ragnar Stormbrow carries. You'll be glad to have it. You can use it as a spare.
Alright.
Go right in. Speak to Ulrich Oathbreaker inside. He will
The way he just turned around, bro. Alright, right. Alright, I'm gonna be AFK for a second.
And that is this little tidbit right here. Balance feint now stacks with regular feint. Now, y'all might be confused, and I don't blame you, because again, not a lot of people know that this exists, but just like there is a death feint that is very powerful, basically the most powerful buff in the game, a 70 trap that puts a 30 trap on yourself as a trade-off, there's also a balance feint that's existed in the game for years now. However, it's never worked as intended. This was introduced when Wiz revamped Tear Jewels, but in Wallaroo and also in Darkmoor, there's this thing called a feint citron. It is exactly what you would expect a feint citron to do. It's a feint, but it's balanced. And this is easily one of the most powerful PvE tools in the game, right? It's a 70 trap, and the trade-off is, of course, a 30 trap on self. That being said, this used to simply not work until the most recent patch. The game was treating this feint, even though it was an item card in balance, as the same as this card. And if y'all know about PvE, the name of the game is to stack feints if you want to do damage and the boss allows trap. Why is this such a big deal? For the first time, I would argue maybe ever, there is no reason anymore to do with Tear Jewels what people have traditionally done. Tear Jewels have very historically been used as a way to get a little bit of extra health. And this all changed when they added Square Jewels that instead of giving flat resist, gave insane amounts of health. This also happened in the Wallaroo update. But I think the vision of that change was to make it so that instead of having basically 145 health on that Tear Jewel, there's a valid alternative because you're getting even more health from your Square Jewel. So they added a bunch of these. However, the very, very powerful one, the Fate one, simply didn't work until now. Now, the PvE meta, in my opinion, is to craft a bunch of these so you constantly, whether you're in a solo setting or in a team setting, have ways to buff stack with feint. There's a very unique buff. It'll stack with regular feint, and it'll also save you dex space. You can't use traps. That being said, if you want the most powerful stackable buff with the least deck space, this is the new meta. People need to be using this all over the place, in my opinion. If y'all want to craft this, you do need to fight Belor 5 times. He can also just naturally drop this, but basically, this is the badge that you're going to want. The one that you get for defeating the final boss 5 times, the Bane of Evil. Now, while hopefully this video serves as just an easy way for you to really boost your damage output in PvE, if you didn't know about this existing and about the most recent patch, I also wanted to talk about the current state of Tear Jewels in general, especially following the big change that happened all the way back in Wallaroo. I feel like it's very, very underwhelming. This is the first time we've even had a reason to actually think about the health trade-off, and it's not like health is useless. When you're talking about all the Tear Jewels you could have fixed, let's say you had 155, the best value for Tear Jewels. If you have a wand and a theme and a ring that all give a Tear Jewel, you're really thinking about trading off over 500 health for item cards. Are these item cards that you can get from Tear Jewels good enough? Is this actually working as a system? For a change that literally happened years and years ago when Wallaroo came out, I feel like there aren't really that many good things that you could have fixed onto your Tear Jewel. While yes, this change is massive, I want way more options that are as good as Feint so that we can actually see some diversity in PvE in the form of essentially what are customizable items. But they give such a dumb item card that I would argue it's barely an incentive to even go into that school to weave. The logic behind these is that they'll give you an item card for that school that the tree is from that's part of a fusion formula. So in the case of Extinction Bloodbat Jewel, it's a Bloodbat. Now, I will say this, it's an lower path Bloodbat, not a... Basically, it would be useless if it was a top path Bloodbat, but basically the idea is you would pack max Bloodbats, you would get an extra Bloodbat as an item card. You would increase the odds of fusing this with whatever other spell to make your fusion spell. Right, in the case of this specific myth tree, it is Bleh, the Impaler. If y'all don't know, this spell you can make, it's a myth drain that actually turns weaknesses into traps. But you make it by combining Vampire with Bloodbat as a Death Wizard weaving into Myth. But the idea of that Tear Jewel is, oh, you need to pull that Bloodbat to fuse with the Vampire. Now you can put more in. The expense being, obviously, the 145 health that you don't get. In my opinion, those Tear Jewels should just give the fusion card. I think right now there's a...
Yeah, but that would...
have to take work to actually access.
Yeah.
But imagine...
Of course. That should definitely just... Honestly, they should just give the fusion card downright. But at the same time, in the developer's eyes, I'm guessing... In the developer's eyes, that ruins the incentive for the players to just do extra steps to play the game more and get this to get that, and then when you get that, you get to fuse it, and then when you get this, it's just, you know, extra steps so you can play the game more. They know damn well they could just throw that shit in there and just give us the fusion card in general, but they want us to have to fuse and do all this extra stuff. That's crazy.
Instead of getting a Elephant
But at the same time, that's MMOs for you.
It with the Skeletal Dragon. What if these Tear Jewels just gave a Pyre Dragon? While yes, this could obviously have implications for really powerful spells like Pyre Dragon in PvP. Worst case scenario, you PvP ban them and allow people that are casual to experience fusion. Another very, very unexplored idea, in my opinion, is the fact that a lot of these weaving things, especially in PvE, right, where all of this starts, you gotta start with PvE if you're gonna, like, you know, get a player to actually interact with this stuff. But a lot of this stuff just starts with people weaving into a school to get buffs. Or we're talking about something like maybe Drown Blade. Maybe as a death, I would weave into Storm because, wow, one, I could support Storm. Two, I could get access to a very powerful Death Blade on the way. If I'm really in a solo setting where I'm using Death and Storm, this is an extremely powerful buff. All you have to invest is weaving into Storm, a training point, and you basically get the best buff in the game that's a blade for both of the schools that are relevant in this scenario. But imagine if these came in the form of Tear Jewels. I don't see why they haven't done that. In my opinion, any learnable spell should be available as a Tear Jewel. Maybe fusions are a little too far in the case of some fusions, so you might have to explore whether it's allowed in PvP or not. But in PvE, it feels like a no-brainer. Buffs stack when you can train them, and you could also use an item card version of them. I don't see why they don't add that as an incentive across the board. You want everyone to be adopting weaving, in my opinion, and you also want to make it so that it's something that people really feel they're rewarded for doing. Right now, there's a few fusions that are somewhat relevant in PvP, a couple of trainable buffs that you can actually get pretty early in the weaving journey on some schools in PvE, and that's about it. I feel like for all the resources they invest into weaving, this is going to be something...
Honestly, I barely know what he's talking about.
Why don't we have Tear Jewels again?
I barely can keep up with anything he's talking about because he's talking about, like, late game stuff. He's talking about level 170, level 180. Just, you know, things of that nature. Late game nature. And you know, I'm level 39. I have no business listening to this. But at the same time, it also, like, prepares my mind for the stuff that's to come. It prepares my mind for, like, you know, the stuff that will eventually, the updates that will eventually
starts around level 50 after Dragonspire.
Oh, after Dragonspire. And apparently Dragonspire is supposed to be like Arc 1 or the end of Arc 1. So weaving is after Arc 1. Okay, I see. But yeah, I have no business listening to this because I kind of don't know what he's talking about at all. But, you know, just preparing myself for understanding this stuff, you know. It'd be like that.
Cards that people actually...
That's nice. Appreciate that. So weaving starts after level 50. Okay. So I got like 11 more levels to go.
Weave 4 that are really good in it looks like every year almost, they're going back and revamping certain areas, like for example, the Aquila area, and they add a bunch of spells that are relevant to it. And this doesn't just have to be with that type of update. It could be with any world that has 7 spells, one for every school associated with it. You should be able to access tier jewels.
Right. Appreciate that, Michael. He was just talking about that. The person that was listening to the video, the person on the video who I was listening to, he was just talking about the dual blade thing. The dual blade thing seems OP. Like, very OP. And then, yeah, that's pretty cool. So I feel like that should be the first thing that I weave, is the Storm Blade, or the Storm Death Blade combo, fusion. And we already know that Storm and Fire is like the craziest DPS in the game. Or the best DPS in the game, you know. Storm and Fire, I believe it is. I think. Storm, Fire, Death. It's really Storm and Fire.
Come in a pre-enchanted form. That would give you a reason to give up HP. Back when Triangle Jewels gave item cards. If y'all don't know, before this whole Wallaroo change, Triangle Jewels were the ones that gave, like, item cards. And once in a blue moon, you would see an item card that's unique enough where it does more damage per pip than a regular spell for that school. For example, a Death can't do this much damage with a regular base 9 pip spell. This is almost like a pre-enchanted item card. But in PvE, I don't see why we don't get pre-enchanted item cards in the form of tier jewels. Why not for Darkmoor, give us a pre-enchanted item card that you could affix as a tier jewel for every school? For example, since I'm dead, why not give us a pre-enchanted mortality as something you could put on a tier jewel? That wouldn't break any part of the game. If anything, it would give you a real reason to actually go about affixing these. Right, the reason why this jewel feint thing is such a big deal is it saves you that very important deck space of packing a potent. You can essentially just do this and affix one extra card, so net, you're saving a card, but you're still stacking 2 feint. Imagine you could do that without enchants as well. That's a very, very unexplored thing that they just aren't doing with tier jewels. It kind of is the alternative to making item cards enchantable, which is something a lot of people want. Yes, you could do that, or you could just make item cards the enchanted version of those spells and make people want to actually go after them. The only other idea I have, in the spirit of giving a comprehensive amount of feedback about the tier jewel system, now that this is really something that people are going to be interacting with. We have a lot of pins on our gear, but I don't see why they can't add a tier jewel to regular gear. But I think tier jewels basically make it so you can add item cards with thames, rings, wands, all of that.
Alright, I'm about to start up in a little bit.
Your other gear, right? Like your hats, robes, and boots. I think they would have to make it so it doesn't affect health, because if you add too many tier jewels, you're always going to get those optimal Andes that just make health their only option. But I'm sure they could, like, you know, tweak the health cap so that that's really not necessary, or maybe even make it so that there's a limit on how many health-giving tier jewels you can give. That does force a little bit of choice, I guess. But all I'm trying to see is more customizability.
I could see that. He didn't really talk about that, but that would make sense. Because Storm is the most valuable school in terms of damage, right? So, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, 3 different schools. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I gotta get into weaving after level 50. I think that's what I'm gonna be focusing on.
When it comes to item cards, if they were to do all of this, obviously, we would have to have way more options available to us in the current state of things, right? The faint citron change is maybe the one time people are going to be thinking about it. I'm sure what's probably going to happen if they don't take any feedback about fleshing out the system, people will watch this video if they don't know about it, or they'll read the patch notes and maybe they do know about it. They'll go to this guy, they'll go through all of these and realize that basically all of these are useless other than this now. And then that's it. That's all they're going to do. And it's just such a missed opportunity, in my opinion. I really think they could do more with this feature. That is just my real honest feelings. I've been feeling this for a long time regarding the tier jewel system. And now that they're finally revisiting it after the years that it's been out, and now there's actual reasons to use it, there are two big takeaways. One, y'all should definitely use the Faint Citron if you're a PvEer, you want to optimize this new meta stuff that just dropped. And B, you should definitely also give feedback on what else y'all are trying to see. I hope the devs are listening. I think this is something that could greatly improve the diversity of item cards and the customizability of gear in the long run. I really hope they do this across a lot of levels, not just in Wallaroo and Dark. But I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on everything we talked about the Blended Grove tier jewels, about the Darkmoor tier jewels, how y'all would like to see them flesh out tier jewels in general, why y'all might not be using them if you're the type of person not to use them. Let me know all of y'all's thoughts in the comments, y'all.
Personally, I use jewels. I use tier jewels, square jewels, all of those. But where are they? Here we go. I put one of those extreme jewels, one of those school rating jewels. What is it called? Whatever. It's the jewel that helps you get school pips. I got like 2 of those jewels, I believe, and then put them into 2 different things so I can get more of a rating. Yeah. I put one in here in my ring, and then one in... Yeah, Arch Mastery. I don't know how I forgot about that.
That ties into weaving.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay. Arch Mastery ties into weaving. And then, yeah, after I become level 50, I'm gonna destroy this one. Hold on, how do I get to the... Oops.
What do you want, young...
No, not you, not...
young...
Oh my gosh.
If your goal is to get to speak with Ivar Anderson,
I can't get off the
you
screen.
must gain the trust of his head.
Okay, I get it, Erla. Whatever your name is. Erlich.
You will work for him.
Jeez,
when
man.
He gives you a task, return to me.
Okay,
we will
Erlich.
see if we can turn it to our advantage.
Oh, okay, I think I know what I have to do. I haven't played this in a while, I forgot. Here we go, affix jewels.
So at level 50 you naturally will get Arch Mystery. You wouldn't need a jewel to get school pips.
I heard about that. Yeah. I watched a video like a month ago where he was like, where they said exactly that. They said after level 50 you naturally get school pips or Arch Mastery, but if you want one now, when you're low level, you get these 2 jewels, or you get a jewel and then you put them in your sockets. That's what I have right here. So after level 50, I'm gonna destroy these. Once I destroy these, I'm gonna get a higher level, what's this called? A higher level sword, dagger, whatever it's called. I'm gonna get a higher level dagger and a higher level ring, and then get... Should I get another one? Should I get more Arch Mastery jewels, or should I just say fuck it and just leave it natural after level 50? Because I'm thinking about after level 50, I'll get a new dagger and a new ring, and then get new jewels to go with it. I don't know.
Since they changed it to where you needed school pips to cast, the only rank 4 hits you can get.
Whoa. Dang. Yeah. I need to get a bigger deck too. I think I only have 39. There's like 50 now. So I'm gonna get a bigger deck and all that. After level 50, I'm gonna upgrade everything. I'm gonna get a bigger deck. I'm gonna get some upgraded gear. Once I get some upgraded gear, especially a dagger and a ring, I'm gonna destroy the jewels that are on my current rings, and then I guess sell those, get better gear, and then put new...
around level 50 that give Arch Mystery as well.
Damn. Dang, I didn't know. Okay, cool, cool. Decks give Arch Mastery as well after level 50. That's cool. Alright, that's nice to know. But yeah, after I get some new gear, I guess I'll get some new jewels to go with it as well, so I can have some nice stats going. But yeah, after level 50, just a new deck and some new jewels, some new gear. And that's after Dragonspire, so I don't have to worry about that for a little bit. But yeah, hold on. Let me finish this video.
Forward to all of y'all's thoughts. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub if you're new. Oh, Wizard World 1 is on a teaser frenzy. That is right. They posted yet another teaser today for the upcoming Spring Update 2026. And this teaser is a lot less vague than usual. If you know how they do things, it's actually pretty obvious what they're teasing. This is what they posted on social media today with the caption, "Aberrantly, someone wants a rematch." Now, if y'all have actually played through the game and you remember this, the actual teaser image revolves around the Aberrant Paradox, the last fight that you have to do in Caramel. And this is a very, very hard fight. For a lot of people, this is probably the hardest main storyline fight for its level in the entire game. But it looks like they're incorporating this dungeon into the rematch system that they've been building. And to me, that has a lot of crazy potential takeaways. First off, let's talk about what they've done with rematches in the past, especially in case y'all haven't really done anything with it. I don't blame y'all. A lot of people haven't really interacted with boss rematches in general. But Wiz, over the past several years, has been revisiting previous fights, and they've made a more challenging version of them so you can farm them down the road. You can get all kinds of rewards from these. So how do these work? Basically, right, you craft a rematch using various reagents. Honestly, I'm not even sure these reagents have any other use in the game. But depending on which rematch you do, you can get all kinds of things like spellements, like various drops, and you also get pity reagents. And depending on which arc the boss you're farming is from, you can get one of several pity reagents. These can be used to make really good gear that's otherwise pay to win. This is a side-by-side of essentially a craftable with pity reagents hat, but for level 170, to the level 180 hat that just dropped in the Skolamari pack. Literally, I want to say a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
And what y'all might
shoot, that's
notice
not
is
bad.
literally every stat is better because this is the exact same template, except the one that's level 180, the one that's better, you can only get it from a pack right now. I think it's very, very safe to assume that outside of all the spellments that you can get from these rematches.
And that's probably what the person in the chat was talking about, what Michael was talking about. The pack that just dropped for PC, it's kind of OP, and it's a pack that's specifically towards level 180 gear and plus level 180 plus gear. Okay, and that gear looks nice. It looks really nice, bro. It's got like over 900 plus health for the max. I'm all over the place. But wow. And we don't even have those packs yet on console. They're like unheard of.
That's the pack with the doll pets I want.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, this pack looks nice too. It's got some good gear in it. Even though it is 180 plus, and I don't even know why I'm looking at it. I can't get it. But hey, it is what it is. We'll get it some point in time. For now, we just gotta look at PC's updates behind the glass with our hand on the glass. They adjust the gear to your level. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Regardless of what pack you get, it just adjusts to your level. That's nice. Alright, hold on. I gotta go mute for a second. Alright, I guess sorry for the wait. Had to mute and go, it was time to feed my cats. Had to give them a good feast, some wet food, some treats. Yes, sir, they're eating good.
This new rematch teaser is going to be basically used so you can access this template. Another templates could be really, really cool, but yes, there is super meta gear, and now that they're going into another arc, we'll have an However, y'all might notice in comparing these two, it's essentially the same number of reagents. However, they lower just a little bit, and then they add a trophy that you would always get for doing the rematch, if that makes sense. To farm the same rematch over and over again, you actually have to craft a lot of these. To me, that's a little bit inaccessible. However, the rewards, as y'all might have noted, they're not small, right? You get cosmetics, you get spellments, you get gear that you would otherwise only get for crowns. Honestly, not a bad deal. But something to keep in mind with the way the rematch system works, especially now that we have an Arc 4 rematch teaser. Now, here's the other really big thing that I think could come out of this. This might also be a part of their overview of Caramel in general. Y'all might have noticed that they've been revisiting fights very recently. Literally in the patch that happened end of January, they revisited fights in the Arc after the one that Caramel's in, and they basically reviewed a bunch of bosses that were holding up people. This is the type of stuff that really kills the enthusiasm that people have for questing up. If something is just way too hard or way too tedious to fight, especially the main storyline, don't just stop playing. Right, they already did that for Novus, Wallaroo, Lemuria. Now it might be their opportunity, while they're adding a rematch, to revisit what I would argue are some of the worst fights in the game. The Aberrant Paradox, if y'all are unaware, maybe you haven't gotten here or it's been a while since you played it, it's kind of a crazy fight. It involves basically a boss called the Aberrant Paradox with 3 minions, and you have to kill the minions in order to kill the shadow boss in the end. So this boss spawns with a fire, ice, and storm minion, but after you kill the fire, ice, and storm minion, it's replaced by a myth, life, and death minion, and then after that, it's replaced by 2 balance minions and a shadow minion. It's only after all of that that you can kill the boss. During that time, they have stats that look like this, and spells that look like this. That is right, they got tons of damage outgoing Pierce, and they even have tons of resist, and during all of that, they're spamming shadow spells at you. Very obnoxious, even in a team setting, to do properly. And the craziest part about it is that they also have a cheat where they actually make it harder for you to cycle your cards, because every cycle involves a bubble that they put out, and depending on the bubble, for the next 3 rounds, they'll add a new card into your hand. And these cards, y'all might notice if you know how the symbols work, none of them help you, but they are not discardable either. So, either you kill the minions quickly enough, even despite
or you use the card regardless.
So that your hand isn't crowded by cards that literally hurt you, or you have to use cards that either help the enemy or hurt.
Personally, I would just try to get the cards out of my hand by using them.
It's a very crazy boss fight. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing.
That would be my strategy.
I know some people like remaining forms of difficulty, but when they revisited Arc 3 and they added all these rematches, they actually also made a lot of the bosses a little bit more approachable, especially if you're soloing the main storyline for the first time. Easily one of the biggest changes when they did that was to the Ether Titan fight. The rematch became the hard version of the fight. The main storyline one actually wasn't that bad. If they really do this all right, we'll actually have a version of Caramel that isn't ridiculous tedious to do in the main storyline, but also a version that's actually accessible.
Oh, really? By the way, Michael, I really do appreciate all this information that you're giving me, and all this knowledge of the freaking PC patches and updates and stuff. It's pretty nice because I didn't know some of the stuff that you told me. It seemed like you pretty tapped in.
For people that want a
Been playing since 2008 on PC, rolling on the floor laughing.
You've been playing since '08, bro, like consistently? If that's the case, bro, shush. My bad, bruh. I had to laugh for a second. That is kind of crazy though. You've been playing since '08, bro. That is insane. Consistently is the insanity. The insanity of it is the consistency. That's beautiful, bro. Like genuinely. I've been playing like similarly to you. I've been playing DC Universe Online. Not since its inception, but like 1 year after it was released. Since then, I've been playing DC Universe Online, and that thing is basically, a lot of people outside perspective looking in would say it's dead, but you know, it's cool every once in a while for nostalgia to just hop back in there. But you, if it's consistently, that is, I gotta give it up for you, bro. Kudos, seriously, because this game, honestly, I didn't think it was that cool before I started playing it. As soon as I started playing it, I realized how lively of a community it was and how many updates that actually start to get rolled out. Like, I'm surprised at how many updates the game is getting and how supported Wizard 101 is. And, you know, I'm glad that I actually started it, because if I would have died before realizing that there was a MMO this cool out here, you know, once you get past the thought or the despair of the paywall that everyone goes through, once you get past that, bro, it feels so fun. It's genuinely fun playing this game. So yeah, I just had to get that off my chest.
to do in the main. That's actually accessible for people that want a challenge with rewarding drops like cosmetics, crowns only gear, and spellaments. That could be the major takeaway from this. This really might be their opening to make Caramel not a nightmare, which I would argue is one of the last worlds that actually feels like that. There's a lot of fights that come up when I'm talking about this. The Gobbler fight, Bundozer. I think the Aberrant Paradox is at the top of that list. And all.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool from what I've experienced personally. I haven't heard really good things about PvP though, if I'm being honest. Bless you. If I'm being honest, PvP, I haven't heard that many good things about it, specifically from people who have retired from it. Like the YouTuber that I'm listening to, Awesome the Sauce, he used to be PvP apparently, and he said it was a pretty toxic community and it's getting a lot like more toxic, so he just left the community and started PvE. He said it's going well for him. Personally, I'm not really interested in PvP. That's just not my jam when it comes to MMOs. When it comes to MMOs, I just like to get to the late game, build everything up, get as strong as I possibly can, and then just go right back and basically do my own version of New Game Plus, you know? Like just play the game from scratch and then come back up or help other people around the game. But I like how Wizard 101 is a game where like you can get to like late game level 180 and then still do side quests, like early side quests, and go back and do what you needed, like do what you used to have and just do what you saved up as quests. It's fun, bro. It's fun so far. I'm loving it. So I'm also sipping a little bit, so I'm just like randomly laughing and shit. But yeah, all in all, it is pretty cool so far.
Is to say we might be approaching.
All right, let me get in here, bro. I'm
fairly
playing too damn
polished
much.
version of the game for people that are both casual and also that want a challenge. I will say this though, I feel like there's a lot of people that like the challenges in this game but don't even realize that rematches exist. Also, something that is that obnoxious to craft, and I guess you can get lucky enough to get it as a drop, right? You can apparently get these essentially gauntlets as drops from various bosses, but like to actually craft them seems very tedious.
All the keys. You get golden keys from the from completing all the quests. That's actually nice.
So what the hell is it doing?
If your goal is to get to speak with Ivar Anderson, you must gain the trust of his henchman, Gunnar Quickaxe. Gunnar is the Red Claw camp leader. Go present yourself to Gunnar. You will work for him. When he gives you a task, return to me. We will see if we can turn it to our advantage.
I like the badge from Grizzleheim. It's Nordic champion rolling on the floor.
Nordic champion.
Who's ruthless and resourceful. I see.
Alright, I'll return it to him like you said.
It is as I thought. Haldor Stormwatcher is our quartermaster. He is in charge of the horde of weapons the Red Claw arm themselves with. If you wish to help the people of Anders Holt, defeat Haldor Stormwatcher and sabotage the weapons he's got stored. That will weaken the Red Claw when they try to use them in battle.
Will do.
I feel like they aren't yet super accessible. I would personally interact a lot more with boss rematches if it was just tied to the sigil that the actual fight is from. And I guess they already do that with challenge mode, meaning, right, if I were to do this fight and there was a way to do challenge mode, the sigil would change here, right? They already do that with challenge mode, but this is a little bit different. But maybe after you enter the sigil, maybe there's like a lever you can do, or maybe a portal you could go through just to go to the hard version of it, the rematch version of it. I feel like that would just be a better way to be more upfront with the fact, like, oh, if you're in the main storyline and you're soloing, don't do anything. But if you want a challenge, maybe they could just add a tutorial tip like that. I feel like currently the way they do it, they have a random crafter in the arena of all places, where I'm not even sure most people even visit on the day-to-day unless it's beast mode. Right? It seems kind of weird. Yes, we're headed towards a very polished version of the game. However, how good is the messaging? How well known is the rematch feature in general? As rewarding as it is, I think that's a big question that I have on my mind. But yeah, I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts if you've done rematches or if you just didn't know they existed. Did y'all know about that crafter with all the cosmetics? And did y'all know that you can get crowns gear installments? Because I would argue it's not weird if you don't. But yeah, definitely food for thought. If I would love if the devs could listen to this. Like, I wish that they made the access to a challenging version of a fight when they revisit all these fights just as accessible as it is to a casual player. I don't see why the norm is that you have to go out of your way to craft a gauntlet. And by the way, you can't keep running it after. Like, once you do it, it's done. It's like a one chance type of thing. Right, to me, that's just so tedious. Just for them putting the resources into doing something cool. Hopefully they're listening to that feedback, so it feels like it's just a little bit better in general. That being said, y'all, if the Azteca teaser that they put out just a few days before this video is for a gauntlet, and it's probably safe to assume that just like last spring update, they're going to do a weaving rank update, meaning Right now, Weaving is only at rank 4. We might have rank 5 spells soon. Then this update is actually looking like it's pretty big, right? Rematches, a gauntlet, Weaving, and who knows what else they're going to add from the quality of life side. Who knows what will happen regarding things like Portal Apparel, which are really previous updates, but they got removed, right? It could be a very, very big update. Hopefully y'all are as excited as I am. Maybe y'all disagree with my feedback, or maybe you agree, but in a different way. But let me know what y'all think about boss rematches in general now that we have yet another teaser, now in a new arc for rematches. Could be really cool. Could be a great opportunity for them to fix parts of the main storyline as well. All of that is really good news. Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments, y'all. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub review. And as always, if somebody hasn't told you awesome today, they doing something wrong. Turn on noties for teaser day 1 coverage. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah. Y'all, there are hundreds of areas in Wizard 101, and yet, to me, there's always been one that is way more mysterious than the rest. Hundreds of areas.
Wait, he's in a place that's in Grizzleheim? I might have to visit it.
There's always been one that is way more mysterious than the rest. I am in the area known as Nidavellir in Grizzleheim, this cavernous area full of unexplained murals, statues.
Hold on. Hold on. We're gonna have to stop this fight. We're gonna have to stop that video for a second. He just pronounced that completely wrong. Hold on for a second. He pronounced that. Wait, how did you pronounce it for a second? Hold on, let me hear that again.
One that is way more mysterious than the rest. I am in the area known as Nidavellir in Grizzleheim.
He just said Nidavellir. That is the wrong way of. That was the wrong pronunciation, brother. It's Nidavellir. Nidavellir. Now, the reason why I know that that's the right pronunciation of the word is because. Not gonna lie. No, this is a joke. This is a joke, bro. I'm not serious at all. I'm genuinely not serious. I'm not a grammar Nazi. I don't give a fuck. But I watch the MCU, and in the MCU, in Valhalla and Asgard, they call it Nidavellir. They said, "Oh, the path to Nidavellir. The path to Nidavellir." Didn't they fight Thanos on Nidavellir? Or Nowhere, or whatever it's called. Regardless, in the MCU or in the Marvel, they call it Nidavellir. I don't know. They just fucking booted me from the game. What happened? Oh, I died. Wait, I didn't even die. What the fuck happened? He was in the middle of his attack, no?
I believe they did.
Okay, I'm a. Wait, did I die, bro? Did I actually die? Okay, I don't know how. Oh shit, I did die. I wasn't paying attention again, bro. I swear I'm good at this game, bro. I genuinely kind of don't care. This Grizzleheim, I'm over leveled in Grizzleheim, and I kind of just don't care about what's going on, low key. And I'm just looking at the video. I'm looking at the video that I'm looking at in the background, which is Austin the Sauce. And I'm also, I kind of shouldn't say this because this is a little too much for YouTube, maybe, but
off guard with the way he said it, rolling on the floor laughing.
okay, this is the right way. Wait, no, it isn't. All right, let me lock in, bro. He did say, what did he say, bro? He said Navada. But yeah, to not be all over the place, it's the correct pronunciation is Nidavellir, because in the MCU, in Marvel, in terms of Thor or whatever, when he was traveling there, they was like on the path to Nidavellir. How did Austin the Sauce pronounce it?
There are hundreds of areas in Wizard 101, and yet, to me, there has always been one that is way more mysterious than the rest. I am in the area known as Nidavellir in Grizzleheim. This cap.
All right, I'm gonna stop that. But the reason why I'm slurring my words, I'm usually way more proper than this. I really do apologize to everyone who is listening or anyone who happens to look at this afterwards. I'm way more proper than this. I apologize, okay? I didn't expect this. I didn't expect anyone to be in the stream. I'm sipping a little bit, okay? I'm sipping a little bit. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm sipping on, but I'm sipping on a little bit of actually, why not? Some Smirnoff, some vodka. I'm sipping on a little bit of vodka, so is it changing my? That's why the quests weren't even correct. But yeah, I'm sipping on this, so this is why I'm like all over the place, and I'm not even noticing that I'm being killed and all that. That's like Deadpool being in a fight, and then like he doesn't even like he knows he can kill everyone. He knows that he can just defeat the person that he's going against, but he doesn't care, and he gets his arm sliced off. He gets his leg sliced off. He's like, oh yeah, oh crap. It was like that part in the Deadpool movie where Juggernaut walked towards him and he said, I'm gonna rip you in half now. I'm gonna rip you in half now. And Deadpool didn't care, not one bit. He was like, oh no. He didn't care. That's kind of how I feel right now. Being off a little bit of like sipping a little bit. But it's potion. I apologize. Is this where I'm supposed to go? Hopefully. Alright, I'm gonna continue with my video and what I was doing before.
Area full of.
Sorry for that little hiccup in the stream. That was just me being ridiculous. I have to talk to him again.
If your goal...
You wanted...
It...
Alright, let me stop playing around, bro. They're really taking me for a joke a little bit. We all know Beguile does not work. It barely works against any NPCs in the entire game. It barely works against bosses. I don't even think Beguile works against bosses whatsoever. I don't think it does. We don't need Dead Zone. We don't need this because the NPCs are not going to heal at all. Let's, shouldn't we do Myth?
You the...
All good that you sippin'. I've played that way too and it makes it more fun, emo.
Yeah, bro, it is, actually is more fun. I'm not even going to lie to you. Alright, let's get some Myth. I don't need Empower. I need to save all of my Empowers. I don't even know why I put that there. Empowers are like a crazy hot commodity in this game. It's too expensive nowadays. It's like $2,000 now. Why is it $2,000? Like if you want Empower in this game, you literally need to pay for gems out of your pocket. Shoot. What else should I put in? You know what? Why not? I got 18 of them. I need to go get some spells after this anyways. After this, we're gonna go back to Wizard City.
Explained murals, statues, barely gets explored by the plot of Grizzleheim.
Yo! Couch potatoes gets a lot of powers and mega snacks. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do couch potatoes. I don't know how to plant or garden at all. That's the one thing I don't know how to do. I'm missing out, bro. I am missing out. For real. And I'm not happy about it. I don't know how to garden in this game. I mean, okay. I'll tell you what. After this battle, I'll go back to my crib and I'll show you what I have going. I have like 3 gardening pots, but I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how to do it, how to garden or anything. And I heard like couch potatoes and all that, and if you get like a giant plot of land or like a castle or whatever it's called, if you get that giant gardening plot of land, you can like do a glitch where like you keep planting like a bunch of things next to each other, and then you can like glitch with it. Ooh, life teacher gives you quest. The life teacher. Oh, the cow. The cow woman. Woo, that's her name. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I need to switch to myth. I don't know why I'm still death. Death is my innate school, so why do I even have the school pick as death anyways? I don't have a school pick spell. I mean, a death school spell. Death school pick spell, whatever. Why not? Let's get this death pip out of here. Okay. This man is over performative, bruh. Like, he doing all that just to bump him on the head with a staff.
Death pip is needed, otherwise the school pips allow you to use power pips for off schools.
Bro, I've been trying to get Deer Knight for a while, bro. I looked at a YouTube video on how to get Deer Knight at a low level. I'm trying to get that Deer Knight gem. I have the Deer Knight gem, the gem that gives you Deer Knight or whatever, or the recipe for it. But bro, I need the jewel crafting station just to craft the jewel that gives you the Deer Knight card. But like, bro, it's impossible to get to the jewel crafting station quest because like I can't. It's so many different items that I need that just aren't available. It's insane.
Some
But
pets also give the item card as well.
I'll leave that alone. You know, that's my problem. I'll come across the card naturally. It's all good. Let me see what I can do here. You know what? Let me see if stun works against him. I cast Group Guardians of the Galaxy. Or not. He'll just die immediately. Let me get these weapons.
You use some tricks the blacksmith taught you to weaken the metal of the weapons. With a little work, they become useless for battle.
Come on with this.
You have done well. Our work.
Okay, good. We'll leave it at that for a second. All right. Now, where's my... I have 2 pots. 2 gardening pots. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Okay, I think you're supposed to... R2, R1. Right? That's what I'm supposed to do? And then... Gardening. I gotta... Oh, shoot. I go to gardening. Tall palm tree. Okay, bet. So this is where all my gardening stuff is at. So I could just plant couch potatoes. But I need more gardening pots, dude. Dang it. As a matter of fact, I gotta craft this, right? Where's the little...
You need to talk to Wu first.
I gotta talk to Wu. right quick. Let me see this. Here we go. Seal of the Seraphim.
The
Where is that
soil needs
at?
to be large for couch potatoes.
Seal of the Seraphim. Dang it, I need these. Okay, but I can do that. That's gonna take a while though. Alright, let me talk to Wu right quick. I thought she would be in the courtyard. Man, dang.
Plants grow a little faster in a red barn farm too.
Never mind.
Yeah, Red Barn Farms. Aren't they like 25,000?
As the professor of life
Which is a house you can get for gold.
to tell you about a wonderful new activity available. I speak of gardening. Students at Wizards of all there is.
Yo. Hey, I might have been sleeping on gardening, y'all. Hold on. Is gardening cool? I mean, apparently it gives you like empowers. Empowers are fire. I heard there was a whole currency system that the players set up based off of empowers, like the number of empowers you have or something like that. I don't know. Oh yeah, this guy. I forgot about him. I forgot all about this
Greetings,
guy.
my little wizard friend. You look like you're in need of some learning, and I'm happy to oblige. And if it's not too much trouble, I'll ask you for a small favor once I've finished yapping.
Yep.
So, where to start? Well, let me tell you about how gardening works. Do you have a seed with you? Surely you must. What's that? You don't? Tell you what, will you run over to speak to Blossom? Ask her for a seed.
So I have 469 plots of it. When I harvest on the double gardening, I get 572 mega snacks per harvest.
Bro, Michael, you are cracked, my guy. You are too cracked.
I think Michael's just being
No, he's not, bro. Relax. I'm just kidding. That's crazy, bro. That is an insane amount. 500 mega snacks?
Good day to you, young wizard. What can I do for you? A seed? Farley sent you? A most unusual request. A plant's journey of life begins with it as a seed. There are many types of seeds, each with a different
Dandelion,
destiny.
rewards, challenge. Okay.
With enough energy, you can prepare soil of your choice. Then, you
The
can...
majority of them give 50 pet XP but ranges from 45 to 50, and on double pet XP events I can train them even faster lol.
You can shepherd its growth through spells
Okay.
and other I will give you a seed. Take it back to Farley. He will tell
You gave me a little dandelion seed, that's it? Okay. I'm not gonna do the whole thing to get the
Oh, you
potatoes, but I'm just gonna start it off right now.
I recommend you roll up your sleeves and learn something about gardening.
Housing shop. Wait, he has other pots as well? What's up with it? I can get some of them right now. Medium enchanted pot. What does an enchanted pot do? I wonder. Enchanted. It doesn't tell you. It just says medium enchanted pot. Okay. Hold on. I kind of want to get the other thing. I kind of want to get the farmhouse right now, bro. That don't sound cool. That's 12. That's only 12K. 12K. What's up with the gold? Damn! Oh fuck no. I can't afford that. Bro, I'm not.
You can get the house with gold.
Hell nah, bro. 125K, bro. I have 27,000. And even that, bro, even that is a lot. Oh man, that's crazy. Y'all must be swimming in money. Oh wow. Well, I guess I'm only sticking with this. You know what? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out later. Honestly, I don't even really care about gardening right now. At this specific second, gardening isn't really a necessity for me. You know, I just want to get through the main Arc 1. Once I get through Arc 1, Arc 2, Arc 3, I'll get to 170. Once I get to 170, then I'll do everything that I wanted to do before smoothly in a cohesive manner. Because I'll be 170 and I'll have everything in the game that I would want, hopefully. I have all the gear, all the sockets, all the tier jewels, just everything that I want in the game, and I'll basically do New Game Plus and finish all the side quests, including gardening. So let me go back here. Let me go to the bazaar, get some spell cards for now, and then also I kind of want to finish this. Let me see what he's talking about, because hold on, let me hear him say that one more time.
Well, there are hundreds of areas in Wiz 101, and yet, to me, there has always been one that is way more mysterious than the rest. I am in the area known as Nidavellir in Grizzleheim, this cavernous area full of unexplained murals, statues, barely gets explored by the plot of Grizzleheim. And today, I wanted to talk about all the questions that are raised by this area and why they really deserve an answer, especially considering some of the more recent plot lines. Now, I'm not the only one who feels this way. This video was inspired by this post on Reddit. Somebody else also feels this way, and in fact, hundreds upvoted this. This post was full of theories, including some that really highlight.
Wow. He just gave up, huh?
This area might be a top candidate for a revisit in 2026, maybe. Starting right off, this area is very obviously ancient. It might be as ancient as a spiral itself. Why is that? Because there's a mural depicting a frost giant fighting a fire dragon in this area. If y'all don't know the lore of Wiz 101, the spiral used to be one big world, almost like the Earth with Pangea, and it wasn't until the Titans started fighting each other that the world started fragmenting, and then Bartleby basically sang the song of creation to create what we know as the spiral. And while yes, maybe a lot of people know about this legend, and maybe you could argue that this was just art inspired by a legend, I almost feel like this area is so ancient feeling that it feels like it was painted by someone that was actually there to witness it. I think it's very notable that both Bartleby and the Titans are all depicted here as if someone was there to witness the fight and then recreate it in this crazy area. To me, that suggests that this place has a lot of secrets that have yet to be explored, including, by the way, tons of areas that have no explanation as to why they're the way that they are. First off, there's two big doors here that have yet to be explored, as in there's no explanation for where, like, what's behind these random doors that are made. Second off, and this is something very few people know about, while the middle dungeon is the only one that you have to do to actually get through Grizzleheim, there are 2 side dungeons where if you defeat the final boss, you can essentially get the middle boss alone by itself instead of fighting all 3 of them. It's a very, very weird mechanic that is yet to be explored, but this area has a bunch of, like, biomes that you can unlock, essentially, including a random final boss in a very, very weird looking area. And this dungeon, the Winterdeep Warren, it is one of my favorite dungeons of all time. Again, something that you just literally wouldn't experience if you just do Grizzleheim like vanilla mode. But it's this really, really crazy maze that they made. And there's a lot of dead ends and everything, but if you get to the end and you fight a boss, you can essentially eliminate him from the middle dungeon. But these areas really beg the question of who built these halls and mazes and all of that. And also, the other thing that it really begs a question of, what is up with all the humanoid statues all over the place? And that really brings me to the heart of this theory, why I think they could really make this area kind of relevant. It is very, very notable that this is one of the only areas in the entirety of the spiral that depict actual humans in the form of statues. The only other major world that actually seems to feature humans as like the main population is Dragonspire. I'm of course talking about Headmaster Ambrosius of the Dragonspire Academy. This dude is literally an ancestor of Merle Ambrose. This is one of the only other places where we know that humans have been there for a while, because they're literally depicted in the form of statues.
Wait, what?
In the form of statues.
That's kind of cool.
The only other major world that actually seems to feature humans as, like, the main population is Dragonspire. I'm, of course, talking about Headmaster Ambrosius of the Dragonspire Academy. This dude is literally an ancestor of Merle Ambrose. This is one of the only other places where we know that humans have been there for a while.
Who's the... Hold on, I keep missing this. Who's the ancestor of Ambrose?
Spire Academy. This dude is literally an ancestor of Merle Ambrose. Like, the main population is Dragonspire. I'm, of course, talking about Headmaster Ambrosius of the Dragonspire Academy. This dude is literally an ancestor.
Ambrosius. Dang. That's kind of crazy.
Merle Ambrose. This is one of the only other places where we know that humans have been there for a while, because they're literally depicted in the form of statue. And why is all of this so important? This actually really doesn't get, like, you know, acknowledged. Like, the fact that some worlds have humans and others don't, until the very, very end of Darkmoor. There's this very, very weird, like, note from Miranda in her, like, I don't know, hideout in the Skolomance, where she actually notices that there are things that are similar between Earth and the spiral. She says of all the theories we conducted about extraterrestrial life, never did we expect it to look so familiar, because she's noticing there's a lot of similarities between Earth and the spiral. The one place that both Miranda, the new enemy of this arc, and the wizard come from. She even theorizes that maybe Earth is the spiral's mythical first world, which is where I think this theory could go crazy.
That's nice.
Because if Earth is the spiral's mythical first world, that means that maybe there's something about humans in the spiral that make them much different. Maybe they're connected to magic in a way that's very, very different. She also says something very mystical, where when creating new worlds, sometimes even gods need a little bit of inspiration, and maybe that's all it is. But this is some kind of crazy, like, you know, high-level questioning that I have about this. Okay. Where do humans actually come from in the spiral? And why is it that some humans, like the wizard, even can do things that are different? If y'all remember, there was a really, really weird plot line at the very end of Imperia, I want to say. This was at the end of Imperia Part 1, but we actually had to access the astral plane to reach out to Mallory back when she was, I guess, being manipulated by Grandmother Raven. But we were only able to do that because we were from Earth. As in, we were maybe far enough away from the spiral that we could access it in a way that other spiral beings couldn't. But if that's true, and also Miranda is shockingly powerful in her own right, is there something about humans in the spiral that's different? And that also really begs the question of, anytime random humans start showing up, especially in ancient areas, where did they come from? What did they do? What secrets did they learn that we are not aware of? I think those are really, really big questions that Wiz kind of does have to answer. This is unironically a big part of the upcoming plot, right? We're gonna choose whether we want to save the Earth or save the spiral, probably. But a lot of it probably has to do with, are humans actually from Earth, or is the Earth just a part of a bigger thing that the spiral's also a part of? And I think to answer that question, we'll probably have to revisit every single time a human has shown up. They've shown up all over the place. We've seen them now in Darkmoor. We've seen them in Dragonspire's
All right, we're ready.
although Dragonspire is essentially full of ghosts now. But the one other place that has no explanation for how humans ever got here almost seemed like they were guardians of the Frost Giant somehow. I guess they could always just go with the fact that the wizard itself, the main character, they're just that special that they could be like the scion of Bartleby and take on death professors, you know, a few years into their education. I guess they could argue all of that, but it almost feels a little too coincidentally true that we were summoned here by Bartleby from Earth of all places. Why Earth? Why did he think that that world was a place to go? Maybe Bartleby knows something about people from Earth that has to do with all these random and ancient depictions of humans all over the place. To me, Nidavellir is definitely the place where they would have to
okay.
that. And if there's other examples that I'm missing, please let me know. But as far as I know, this is definitely like, how in the world is this place even real? I don't ask that about any other area in Wiz. There's definitely like a theory that's been brewing in the back of my head for a while, but I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts.
At the same time, maybe Wizard 101 just writes the word differently than Marvel. I don't know. Like Marvel and Wizard 101 probably writes the mythical world in different ways, so maybe it's pronounced in different ways. I have no clue. But all I know is I don't know.
About this area, definitely, how it came to be. Do y'all think that the murals and all of that suggest that it's actually as ancient as I believe that it is? And also, what do y'all think about the role of humans in the spiral? People from Earth in the spiral? And how do y'all think all of that is going to tie into the future plot? Because I feel like now that our main villain is also
copyright,
from Earth,
what you mean?
They're gonna have to answer some big questions. Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments. Definitely a weird theory video today, but I thought it was worth talking about, especially after that Reddit post, since a lot of people seem to feel the same way about the air of mystery surrounding this place. Let me know y'all's thoughts.
Are you talking about my video, or are you talking about
leave us
the Nidavellir thing?
Somebody hasn't told you're awesome today. They doing something wrong. Stay awesome. See y'all soon. And yeah.
Shoot, I don't know. At this point.
Y'all, Wizard 101 just made a massive announcement today, and this is something that people have been waiting months, if not a full year.
Okay. So, the order of videos that I'm watching, I'm going like down the list. So this was 3 days ago. Huge announcement.
But this is what Wiz posted on social media today, y'all. We finally have official confirmation straight from Wiz that Portal Apparel is coming. Spring Update 2020. Height of Spring Update teaser season if Portal Apparel wasn't a planned part of Spring Update. That being said, today I wanted to talk about why this is such a big deal if you simply don't know what Portal Apparel is. But even if you know what Portal Apparel is, I think there's stuff that's happened since it got removed from the game that's about to make this version of Portal Apparel way better, way different. Let's talk about it. There was a lot of people on this announcement on social media anyways that were confused about why people were being hyped. So let's talk about what Portal Apparel is. It's basically an event where you get tokens for interacting with this NPC every day. Now, you get 2 tokens if you're not a member every day, and 4 tokens if you are a member, and each token can be used to run whatever gauntlet is running for the Portal Apparel in question. So when this is open, it normally involves one of several gauntlets. They rotate it as each new Portal Apparel happens, but basically each token is worth the ability to do a run. And here's the part where it gets really cool. You get an event progress page like this, and essentially, as long as you have tokens, you can keep running gauntlets with other people, and the more progress you make for defeating the final boss that gauntlet, the more fortune coins you get. Those fortune coins can be used to redeem all kinds of things, including spellaments at 1 fortune coin per up to 2 random spellaments. It is, if you're not paying crowns,
Okay.
the singular best way to get spellements in Wizard
That's not a
101.
bad way of getting
We haven't
spellements. It seems
had
pretty cool.
this feature in the game in a long time. What's also very amazing
And
about
apparently it's been broken,
is that
huh?
it's the only thing in the game that lets you scale up. So again, this is straight from the Wizard 101 page. It probably explains it in words better than maybe I could. But let's say that you're like a level 20 and you're running it with a level 180. This actually scales that level 120 up to that level 180. Basically, whoever the highest person in the run is level-wise is who everyone is scaled around. So let's say there's 3 level 20s and a level 180, and they enter the gauntlet that's running that time with all of them having a token. That's the only thing they need. All of those level 20s get scaled up to right now the current highest tier is 150. So I think the way that it would work is the lowest levels get scaled up to 150. The highest level will get scaled down to 150 because in this example, I
guess their priorities have been in another place,
right? You can essentially
in terms of
experience higher level stats, get access to really cool rewards with those fortune coins. Very, very cool. Something that anybody can participate in. Very inclusive activity. It got removed because it caused server stability issues and was exploitable. As generous as it is. So they removed this like 8 months ago or 9 months ago or whatever. Now it's back. Now that y'all are caught up on why it's so rewarding, let's talk about what has changed since then. That, I think, is the real story here. There were 2 major things that happened in the Darkmoor update where I think I would argue maybe the players suffered so that they could prosper almost. One of them is that the entire way that crafting gear with pity reagents has now changed. This is a very, very big deal. Obviously, if you've been watching the videos, I've covered this kind of extensively, but now, let's say that you're at the end of the game, you're in Darkmoor, and this is probably gonna be the norm going forward. I suspect they're gonna revisit previous worlds and also do this as time goes on. But you might notice that once you get the badge to be able to craft something, right? Like, let's say that I had the Grey Slayer badge on this specific wizard. Once you get that badge, all you need to craft any school's gear that drops from the boss that the badge is from is outsider relics. As in, there's no ground reagent that you have to pick up anymore. They've greatly simplified it. However high the cost of the actual craft is, it's basically 120 outsider relics to craft any one piece of endgame gear. But the fact that it's one reagent is a big deal because Portal Apparel also has a way to turn your fortune coins that you get for running those gauntlets into pity reagents. I'm really assuming this, but I don't really think it's a dumb assumption. I think when Portal Apparel comes back, they will add a way to turn fortune coins into outsider relics. Why do I say this? Because the last version of Portal Apparel we had was like I want to say 10 months ago, and they still managed to add moon dust as a...
You again? Looking for more work, I gather. Very well. If you want to be useful, go and give this gift of fine golden arm rings to the boars that just... Their leader is named Scarsnout. He's not too bright and has a rash temper, so do not anger him. Give him the gold and he'll distribute it. That should show the boars that we respect them and see them as our equals.
Talk to Eric.
Gunnar gave you golden arm rings to give to Scarsnout, leader of the boars?
Yes, sir.
Those are fine gifts, tokens of the highest respect.
Ulrich looks around.
I found this earlier today. It's blueberry juice, a drink for cranky little cubs with upset stomachs. Give it to Scarsnout.
Oops.
Scarsnout happy to join Redclaw. Gunnar says he gives us...
You give the bottle of blueberry juice to Scarsnout. A look of confusion crosses his face. Then...
What this? Blue juice for cranky tummy? This drink for cop, not warrior. Gunnar and Scarsnout send message back to Gunnar. He starts by smashing you.
So because you didn't like the drink that we gave you, out of courtesy, you want to whip my ass. Okay, that's cool. All right, bet. I'm gonna whoop, man. That's one of the rudest shit I've ever seen in my life. I got you. That's a bet. Now I'm gonna have to do that to you. You get the roaring in the background too. Come on, you want to fight so bad? What's up?
Reward for doing Portal Apparel. For 3 fortune coins, you could use Moon Dust, and this is a pity reagent. Once you have all the badges anyways, to craft everything in Selenopolis. However, the key difference now is that you only need that one reagent.
All right, next video.
Y'all, Wizard101 just announced a crazy milestone today that you literally will not believe. But this is straight confirmed from Wiz. Multiple news outlets have already reported on it. The topic of the video today, y'all, is this headline right here. And no, your eyes don't deceive you. Wiz on console, within 4 months of launching, has officially hit 1 million downloads. Now, I wanted to break down this milestone. We actually have some data on, especially with Wiz on PC over the years. I also wanted to talk about what this means for the future of Wiz. But first, let's talk about all these articles. It looks like Wiz actually made a real effort to get these numbers, publish them through multiple news
Domain
sources. I saw MMORPG
Thunderdome
talk about it, Forbes talk about it. But they've officially hit 1 million downloads across Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. Some things to keep in mind with that number is, it's even more impressive than it might appear at first, because on the Switch anyways, people have to pay $20 to play. It rocketed to the top of the eShop despite the fact that you had to pay. It actually informs us even more to how successful Wiz has been with their console launch. Additionally, this is a very rare occurrence, but the CEO of the group that currently has, I guess, owned and acquired KingsIsle and Wizard101, if y'all remember, they acquired Wiz about 5 years ago for like $126 million. But the CEO of that group also had a prepared statement. I don't think I've ever seen them comment on Wizard101 before, but the person that's at the top of this ladder, called all the shots, has said that all their efforts have been worth it. They now have even more reason to believe in the brand that Wizard101 is and its player base. I think this part is very important. Obviously, we don't have all the details of the sunk cost for this, but they said the project was long awaited, and they're happy to say that it was worth it. Now, I don't want to read too much into an offhanded statement, but they literally prepared this statement. I'm going to be honest, I think they're turning a profit earlier than they expected. That's what I think from the statement from this article.
That's what it sounds like, honestly.
Was in multiple articles. That's my takeaway. Could be wrong. Still a big deal. Now, this 1 million number, right? There's a lot of people that probably don't know what this means in the context of maybe Wizard101's history. And I thought I would take a look, for y'all anyway, so we could be equipped with this info. How good is this million compared to maybe Wiz's peak? So the only other major data point that we have to work off of is from all the way in 2014. If y'all remember, Wiz, when they combined their player count with Pirate101, had 50 million people in the spiral. Now, if y'all been playing the game for a while, y'all might remember this little, visual, basically, the breakdown of this was 45 million people played Wiz, 5 million people played Pirate. For a lot of people, this represented the height of Wizard101's popularity. And to add some further context, I think Wiz found itself in a very convenient intersection, right? This was at a time where advertising...
Like, hopefully because they see that we are getting, or hopefully that because they see that console players actually want to play Wizard101, and we are at the height of the amount of downloads that, they're getting right now. Like, oh my gosh, what did they say? 100 million downloads? That's a lot, bro. Yeah, hopefully they see that, we are a priority that they need to focus on in terms of updates. And they start rolling them out sooner than later. Because, honestly, the console being out is a big reason why they're, turning a profit. in my opinion.
TV was probably a very, very sure bet. They occupied many, many time slots on very popular television shows, targeting their audience that they wanted, right? Which is mainly kids. If y'all ever watched Disney, Nickelodeon, Disney Plus, Nick Jr., it doesn't really matter. All those kids had Wizard 101 ads playing on prime time. It had a lot of revenue. They chose the right media to actually advertise on. And unlike now, where it's a little bit more murky where the right place to advertise is, back then it was a sure bet. It was paying off. What's crazy is the changes to the advertising landscape and maybe just people playing different games really started to show over the next few years. A full 4 years later, a KI Live question came up on how many people have the Warlord badge, but in their answer to this, they also revealed how many current players
that's not too bad.
Had. And
like
that was the
damage.
last time we ever had a statistic on player count. They said we had 53 million people playing at the time, which is a net of about 8 million people added to Wiz over many years, over about 4 years. Now, this doesn't mean that all those people kept playing. This is people that made accounts. I would argue the retention of that is a very small percentage. It honestly wasn't a great sign. And I think we saw them respond to maybe the more stagnant player growth with all kinds of things like the crazy crowns rewards we have. Right now, I have like 60,000 crowns, right? This would not have been enough to even do a fraction of that crowns reward that they put out for the first time, where they were really trying to make ends meet, right? They had like 500,000 crowns rewards with crazy rewards for people to spend on that made no sense. And it didn't look good. 2 years later, they got acquired, and now we're looking at literally a new platform where they've had 1 million people join in just 4 months. This type of growth is genuinely rivaling what Wiz had close to its peak. I think that's the best way to look at this number. If Wiz on console,
you know what? This is fun, bro. It's still fun for me. I don't know about y'all. This shit's probably annoying for y'all.
Believe that, and I think that's a fine thing.
It's probably annoying for you guys, but for me, it's actually pretty fun. I'm in Asgard getting my ass whooped, bro. That's fun. That's what it's supposed to be. It's almost like I'm with Thor in them, you know, in the MCU and just fighting and training. All right, bro. Let me actually whip them, bro. Jeez. I actually have to try. I forgot. Oh, wait, don't I have a thing on him?
I didn't know you guys. Oh, that's good. Easy.
Good for the longevity of Wiz. Now, whether Wiz on console is profitable or not probably boils down to like player behavior on each platform. But I think another very important statistic to think about here, right, is the breakdown of consoles, especially because Switch's monetization is so different. Now, here's the part about this 1 million download milestone that I find really, really interesting, right? This is the breakdown of console popularity, and obviously, A little bit of speculation ahead. We don't know if the breakdown of console popularity is fully mirrored in the Wizard 101 console population, but let's say that it were, for the sake of an argument.
There is always something you can do because of all the worlds and...
True. Each world is always getting updated and stuff. And patched. Which brings new quests, new availability to do more things. I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, there's always something new. Which isn't true for a lot of different MMOs. And some of them MMOs like DCUO, DC Universe Online, like I've been playing that since like when it came out, like 2013. But they barely update the game, and when they update the game, they don't do it to like each world like they do here and make it more fun. You know, this seems way more diverse, Wizard 101, you know, so I'm happy to be here, you feel me?
Seven percent of all console players that have a Nintendo Switch. If that was the percentage of people that are playing Wiz, you're looking at 270,000 people that paid $20 just to play on Wiz. Because Nintendo Switch actually requires that you buy the first part of the game. That is, on one platform, rivaling a gigantic share of that initial $126 million buyout. And the reason why I think this might even be somewhat on the conservative side is because of this crazy number right here, which is the fact that Wiz on Nintendo Switch was #1 for downloadable only games. There's a real shot, again, kind of speculation, we don't have all the info on this, but there's a real shot that the average share of console players that are on Wiz might actually be weighted towards the Nintendo players because it was #1 on the Nintendo eShop. It never hit #1 on PlayStation or Xbox. It was trending, it was doing really well. It was never straight the king in any category. This is all to say the Wiz has more players than it's ever had in recent history, probably has more revenue flowing through it than ever before. The real question that remains now, right? Yes, we can celebrate it, we can be happy. The real question that remains is, what is Wiz gonna do with all of this revenue? Obviously, yes, they probably did, you know, have to spend a lot of money on things like servers, especially in a climate like this, where we have a bunch of AI companies also competing for all kinds of hardware. I'm sure to actually make the servers keep up with this, they had to put even more costs than they initially thought. But hopefully, they're still making enough revenue month on month because of how active this player base is, where they need to show us that the players are going to get something back. In my opinion, that's the real takeaway. While I'm more than happy to celebrate the fact that Wiz is successful, that's honestly my dream come true. What I really hope is that the norm isn't that Wiz on consoles 3 updates behind. I really hope the norm isn't that Wiz on PC is the only one that gets free membership events. They did a very cool giveaway this year already for console that was actually a game changer. Expand Backpack, expand Friends List Elixir, Pets. I hope they make that a very, very regular thing to keep people playing, keep people interested, keep people engaged. I think a lot of that has to do with literally hiring more people to keep an exclusive eye on console servers, much like they've had people do that for PC servers. Right, this type of momentum, you want to keep it alive. You want to make sure people feel like they're being catered to.
I hate
hope
playing
that's
it safe,
on their priority list. I don't need to tell
I gotta
them.
actually not die this time.
I think Wiz has more than enough reason to justify it. I think we're going to see a lot more investment back into the game. I really hope that's true. I think the numbers support that. I think my big takeaway from this milestone personally is that all the years of people dooming this game, they were wrong. And the people that stuck with Wiz during the worst of times were right. And I really hope that the people that were doom posting about this game, honestly, some people were doom posting about the console launch as recently as not even a full year ago. I hope those people look at a milestone like this and are more public about how wrong they were. I know that seems like a petty thing to ask for, but I really hope a big thing that comes out of this is outside of the numbers, outside of the data, some sort of personality shift away from something I've noticed on Wiz. I
actually wanted to fizzle now thinking about it.
But there's so many people, and I think this happens because Wiz is such a long lifespan type of game. They used to play Wiz, see things changing, immediately look at change as bad, and think that the game is dead and want everyone else to agree with them. And that last little bit is the issue that I am gonna draw some big problems with it, right? I've seen roundtables full of people say that the game is dying. I've seen people make videos saying that the magic is gone. I've seen people make videos saying the console launch is doomed no matter what. I've seen people making videos saying that devs are brain dead, calling them out by name. I've seen tweets on every single Wiz announcement saying that the game has been dead. This has been my experience as someone that hasn't quit over the past 10 years and has watched this unfold. It got very tiring actually saying the good things about Wiz amongst the bad things, right? You gotta be honest about the bad things while being honest about the good things. Now that we have a brand new group of people playing, I feel like we have the critical mass to actually change the culture around the way we talk about Wiz, the way we look at Wiz. I'm not saying no one should be allowed to criticize Wiz, but I feel like being more honest about how we criticize it is something that I hope a lot more people are actually doing. If they're not aware of this milestone, maybe they don't have a reason to change their mindset. But I think choosing hope over negativity is a great idea, and it's more possible than ever now that we have this number to talk about. But yeah, sorry for the spiel at the end, but hopefully if y'all didn't know about this milestone, you know about it now, and hopefully the breakdown of this milestone. Y'all, there is a debate that's been happening on Wizard 101 for many years that tons of people have been weighing in on more recently. Today, I wanted to talk about this post on the Wizard 101 subreddit where the original poster noticed how for a game that's really centered around deck building, Wiz really doesn't ever teach the wizard how to build a deck. And they pointed out that they literally have a friend in Novus that runs a big deck, very suboptimal, and they struggle in the late game. And this is probably a result of them not knowing how to optimize their deck. Now, there were a lot of upvotes on this, a lot of people debating in the comments about this, and I have some very strong feelings on the state of deck building in Wiz in general. But let's talk about the root of the issue, right? At a statistical level, you're always going to want a smaller deck if you're trying to have more consistent results. Right, let's say that you have some really useful cards like Forest Lord and Feint and maybe your Wallaroo AoE. You're going to want to...
As soon as I played it safe.
Good work. Now the boars think the Red Claw has no respect for them. They are still... Our work, I think, is almost at an end. We could go and see Gunnar Quickaxe and see what mischief he will set you to. Then return once more, and we will try to...
You there, young cub. How did the boars like their golden arm rings? I'll wager they were quite pleased. No oath of fealty, no promise of aid. That is troubling, but no great matter. The boars will likely show their gratitude in another way.
Michael, if you're still here in the stream, I want to say, bro, I low-key want to subscribe to your channel, for being honest. Just to keep in touch, bro, because you have a lot of knowledge on Wizard 101, and I would like to pick your brain about it here and there sometimes when I'm streaming, you know. And shoot, I might actually be able to add you in Wizard 101. Isn't it like cross-platform? I should be able to add you, right? So if you're still in the stream, I'm not sure. Bro, you seem cool as hell. Much love for even coming in here. And thank you for stopping by, bro. But I'm about to the stream is about to be over. I'm about to go eat, you feel me? And end the stream. Let me see what Gunnar got to say,
of the
though.
Red Claw, we have need of ruthless, cruel men who will not listen to the cries of weaklings.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna subscribe, bro.
Do you have a TFC?
What's that? I don't know what that is. TFC. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Go to the jail and speak to Olaf Ironchains. We've captured some villagers, and Olaf will need help breaking their spirit.
My true friend code, I can type it in and it will auto-add.
Ooh, that. Yeah. It's, right here. Wait. That's mine right there. Dang, much love, bro. Honestly, I truly appreciate you coming through to the stream. Hopefully you got that true friend code. You should be able to go back in the stream if you didn't.
We'll see if I can figure out how to add on console.
Okay. Alright, bet. I'm gonna finish talking to him and then I'm gonna end the stream.
Villagers, does he? Your choice is clear. Defeat Olaf Ironchains and set the villagers free.
Defeat Olaf Ironchains and set the villagers free. Defeat Olaf Ironchains and set the villagers free. Like, come on now, fool. Some of the voice actors was really in their bag. Voice acting, bro.
Gonna send you to help interrogate
God
these
damn. Am I talking to a demon?
I can use an assistant. Go and soften them up some. Put the fear into them.
Actually, now thinking about it, this is how I would think a bear would sound if it speaks English. Like, it sounds like he's roaring and growling as he's speaking. That's fire. Hold on, let me hear it closer. Oh, never mind. He's done.
I added.
Alright, bet. I'm guessing Luna Snowfall is you. I don't know. Regardless, we'll figure it out. Oh. I opened it. Okay, bet.
It's the purple name.
What are you doing? I'll get you.
Wait, I didn't try to get into a fight. Are you serious? Man. Okay, bet. Okay, bet. I see. Dang, he joined in. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I accidentally popped a domain expansion. Okay, I'm death too. I really did not mean to like get into this battle. Truthfully. I was trying to end stream. Alright, bet, let's go. Okay, really? You gonna take 400 damage away from me like that? 700 damage? 600, okay. Bet. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Thanks, Tinkerbell. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, you're gonna shield yourself. Okay, bet. Damn it. Yeah, I'm dead, bro. I'm dead. No, is it gonna do more damage? Oh, fuck. Ah! Damn it. I don't even... Oh, man. I didn't even want to be in this battle. If I would have prepared, this would have been nothing, but like... This is kind of wild. Give me that 400 damage. I mean, health. 300. Dang, bro. Really? He's gonna kill me. He has 5 pips just sitting there, permeating there. A natural attack. Ooh. You better hope. I'm telling you right now, you better hope this shit don't work. I'm telling you right now, brother. Oh my gosh, I'm actually dead. Like, actually. Oh, he has 1 pip. No! You fucker. Alright, that's the end of the stream, bro, because I'm not going back in there. I didn't even want to fight them to begin with. I didn't even want to fight them to begin with. I fell into that battle. Hey, look, Nick Jonas. Hey, gang, it's me, Nick Jonas. Come and watch my music while you watching Grizzleheim.
Hey, gang, thanks for checking out my music, and I hope you enjoy the new Winter Tusk area of Wizard 101. See you in the game.
Why is he in the game, bro? Oh my gosh, bro. Nick Jonas. They got Nick Jonas and who else? Selena Gomez is in here as well. Or she used to be in here or something. I don't know. I remember I watched a whole lore video on Wizard 101.
When Selena Gomez was in the game.
You remember, bruh? I think I remember they said that was back in like, what, 2010 or something? Or 2011? Bruh, you are an OG. The OGest of the OGs. Selena Gomez. That is hilarious. But yeah, I watched the whole... Nick Jonas made the music for the second part of Grizzleheim. Whoa. That's nice. Legit.
I have the statue in my house rolling on the floor laughing.
Yo. I saw everyone who like in the like I watched a whole lore video on YouTube of Wizard 101. It was like an iceberg video or whatever, and the Selena Gomez part came up, and oh my gosh, bro, everyone had the statue and the little poster of her or something. It was funny. But yeah, about to end the live. I'll see you, Michael. I'll see you when I see you. Hope you have a good one, a blessed one, and I appreciate you for coming through. You hear me?
There was a glitch and she came back years later in the storm school.
Oh yeah, they said that on they said that on the lore video too, actually. All right, bro, much love.